We're at an existing garden here in Fresno, California, and I get a lot of questions about how you treat underperforming plants in existing gardens. Where did Chip go? He's filming somewhere. We'll walk you through it with Chip and give you a few comments on what we're going to try to treat, and then we'll use our blend and our Penetrate Liquid Biotiller to jumpstart all the underperforming plants. Since it's spring, we're pretty much going to feed the soil and the plants on everything, but we're going to give particular attention to the things that are underperforming. So Chip and I are going to take a look at what we need to treat. The whole garden is encircled with Carolina cherry as a screen. They want it to be as dense and as thick as possible and as healthy as possible. And you can see some places in the back, it's stronger growing than others. Anything in a container, we're going to use it in there because it's great on containers and it revitalizes the soil in a way that you never have to replace the soil. We'll probably shoot a little Penetrate Liquid Biotiller in there too. This tree was planted within the last year or two because of a tree that they had a problem with. We want to get this looking more like a mature tree. It's a crepe myrtle, so we will feed that. The bird of paradise are doing pretty well. These roses are performing pretty well with the rosemary. Rosemary has some woody spots, so we'll feed all of that. Pomegranate is going to leaf out soon. Over there, there's a couple of chlorotic white camellias, so we're going to really focus on those with quite a bit of blend. We have an area here that hasn't done well. They keep having trouble with boxwood dying. So we're going to take this little planting of boxwood out. We're going to plant new 1 gallon ones, and we're going to treat the soil. This area is what the owner originally called me about. She has roses that she just hasn't been able to get to perform, and some died. Before, she had a single row of roses right along that edge. Some are doing poorly, some are gone. If we can get those looking good, then we'll replant where they're missing and reestablish the original intent of this design. We have some redwoods here and there that don't look as good as they could. Usually it's a combination of soil and a lack of summer water. And you can see the redwoods that are closer to the lawn are looking more lush. My supposition is they get a little more water. We'll treat all of this normally. Everything is looking pretty good here. There's some Camellia sasanqua at the end here that need a little help. Japanese maple looks good. And then the front yard is very similar. There are some roses that need some special attention. You can see they have some citrus. If you want to maximize bloom and fruiting and vitality of fruit trees, the best way to do that is feed the soil. You see a little bit of chlorotic yellowing on the leaves. And it's not necessary that we use something different for fruit trees and for roses. We're able to just do a general treatment and focus on things that need a little help. I think this exactly addresses a question I just recently got and we get a lot of. I have some trees that aren't quite doing what I'd like. They're alive, but they're not thriving. What do we do? Well, you can go into your existing garden and bolster that soil. Usually it's an issue of soil or water or both. Okay, Chip, now don't run off. Oh, you want to go in there? So these are concentrated products, so you can carry them in the back of your car. Some you can even carry in your glove compartment. They're so small. That's what this is really, a concentrated, good quality compost. Much easier to apply than a good quality compost. So in this yard, front and back, lawn and everything, I'm using 120 pounds of blend, so 3 40-pound bags. Let's go, Chip. Hey. You can't film there. I'm going to put it on about 18 pounds per thousand. That's a little bit of a heavy application. Standard is about 17 pounds per thousand, so I go 18 to 20. Excuse me. We recommend a rate to try to get you the most value. You could buy regular chemical fertilizer, but that's not going to build your soil. That's not going to make your soil rich. So these daylilies usually have problems with summer heat in terms of building the soil with microbiology. That's going to allow any plant to tolerate hot weather better. As you can see, I'm throwing it on by hand in tight spots like this. You could use a whirlybird spreader, but I like just throwing it on and getting all dirty, almost falling in the pool. We got some cistus right in front of me that's been cut back, so we're gonna feed that generously. We're gonna feed this citrus all in the root zone, and then we're gonna get all of these Carolina cherries that are along the property line. This area that has these problem boxwood that keep dying, we'll throw it on here, but we're gonna take these out either later today or tomorrow. So I'm not gonna do it very heavily. And then this is the area where we have the problem roses. These tree roses aren't so big a problem, but all of these roses haven't bloomed right, and some of them have died. And so we're gonna be very generous with them. So if you'd like to see this garden when it responds to our treatments, make sure you subscribe. These are doing pretty well, but we'll make them do better. This soil tends to be kind of a heavy, hard clay soil. A mulch layer would be good on this too, but just our products will make a huge difference. Now we're gonna treat under this redwood as generously as possible. We've got a few photinia over here, another smaller redwood. Try to get it to catch up. Okay, that's all the blend. Ah, there it is. Now, one of the interesting things is even though on our label it says 8 ounces per gallon of water, it doesn't really matter how much water you use, just as long as you put the right amount in the right square footage. It's just the carrier of the product. This will treat 4,000 square feet, so that's the whole idea. Concentrated products that have the most beneficial parts of a good quality compost in them, in this case, a beneficial bacteria. So we're going around all these roses that have been not performing, and even on the ones that have been performing, we're gonna try to get them to do better. Maybe throw a little in the rosemary. I generally like to put Penetrate Liquid Biotiller over the top of Blend or Optimize or Nourish Biosol, because those need to be watered in anyhow, and the products are extremely complementary and work great together. Okay, these camellias not performing that well, so we're gonna boost them with the Penetrate right over the top of the Blend, right in the root zone. We fed all the redwoods with the Blend, and the one that looks the worst, we're gonna put some Penetrate over the top too. And this is what I would do on any trees that look like they're underperforming in your garden. And you could just put the Penetrate in a big bucket and drench it. I chose to put it in this backpack sprayer because it allows me to get more areas. I usually take the nozzle off so it just comes out in the stream. We could do it over the lawn. I'm kind of saving it for just the real underperforming areas. It's great on lawn though. This Osmanthus fragrance hasn't done real well here. We're gonna try to boost it. And these roses aren't blooming like they should. Could be getting a little more shade than we want, but we're gonna boost the soil. And the same thing on the other side. We get some on the leaves, it's fine. You know, spring is when you get the fastest results because everything's working. You know, the soil's alive, everything is in the time of the year for growth. We might see some good results within 2 months. So to follow the progress in this garden, subscribe to our channel and we'll show you how we progress. If you have any questions about your own garden, leave a comment. What I like to see is how the plants and the soil and your garden and your landscape respond to the treatment before I say exactly when the next one should be. We can see 1 or 2 responses and gauge what problems persist in the garden. We can come up with more of a long-term strategy. So I'm sorry for that being a little bit vague. If I was forced to say, I don't want to monitor it, I just want to make an application, I'd say make an application every 6 months. And if you say you don't want to make an application every 6 months, even once a year will do a lot. It's just it won't happen as fast. And if you have specific pest and disease problems, they might linger longer. We'll monitor it. We'll see how those roses do. We'll probably do it every 6 months or so here.